Here we go with another Shout Out Monday evening, and today is May 14, 2018, and the acronym for today is Some Hometown. So let's see what this is all about. I'm Tom Kvichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And on these Monday editions of Shout Out Monday evening, I like to give you some examples of other channels that you could learn something from, and today is no exception. And it's again in O scale, and it's about my hometown of Pittsburgh. So before we get to that, I'd just like to say, if you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, ding that bell, and that'll notify you whenever I have a new video coming out. And if you would like to see any more of my videos, check out my playlist where I have them categorized so you could find them easily. So let's get going with this and see who we're talking about today. And it is none other than Pittsburgh Train Fanatic. And to you, if you're not from Pittsburgh, it's PGH Train Fanatic. And that's where I grew up. So that's why the acronym is Some Hometown. Shout Out Monday evening. Haven't owned many enormous trains or wanted Nary. But anyway, Pittsburgh Train Fanatic. He also is in O scale like last week's. He's got a lot of videos out there. He does a lot of reviews in O scale. And a lot of the reviews are him operating the new Lionel locomotives. He goes out to a few different other places. He has Chuck F's O scale layout in progress, and he has a local volunteer fire department Christmas holiday O gauge train displayed Penn Hills, where I spent a lot of time going to in Penn Hills. And he's got everything on there about O scale. I suggest you go take a look at him. He's got a lot of good information on there about O scale. He does a lot of reviews, and he's got a lot of good scenery on there. He's really good with scenery, and it's mostly in the western Pennsylvania area, and he even has a steel mill in there, and he has a replica, well, a small replica of Horseshoe Curve. There's not very much of it that you could get into in O scale in your basement, but he does a good job of it, and he's got the steel mill in there. He's got the ladles on there. He does a lot of good animation on his railroad, so you could see what is going on there. He has a lot of good stuff. It's Pittsburgh Train Fanatic. Go check him out. There's a lot of useful information on this channel here. Go see what he is all about. He's O scale. He's got a lot of good stuff on there about O scale, and he does a pretty good job of replicating the scenery in and around Pittsburgh. I can't get the whole thing in there, but there's part of it right there. And there's the bottom part right there. His total layout size is 23 by 20 in O scale. As you can see, he's got Horseshoe Curve in there. He has downtown Iron City Brewery in there. Part of the steel mills, and engine facility, and the diesel shed. So that's his layout right there. Okay, just some of the scenery on his layout here. He does a good job of animating it and showing scenery of the Pittsburgh area. Downtown, the rivers, the incline, the steel mills, and going out a little bit further to Horseshoe Curve. Go check him out. He's got a lot of good scenery on there, got a lot of good information on there where you could learn a lot from what he has to offer. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to him and ding his notification bell so you could be notified whenever he has a new video coming out, and also do that on mine too. Here's what we're going to be working on the next Arduino Made Easy. We're going to be using this IR sensor on there to show you how to use that. And we could replace this with any kind of other sensor, or we could replace the ambient light sensors that we used in the last one with this infrared sensor to get a digital output instead of an analog output like we got with these. Now, I did see in a catalog where they had these mounted on a circuit board like this right here. Let me get the other one, where you could get from the ambient sensor, you can set, it has 4 pins on there, and you could set it for analog and digital, so you can get a high and a low. All you have to do is tweak this little potentiometer on there for your settings for your cutoff for high and low. So that's what's coming up on Saturday, and I'm working on another project. I'm finally working on my model railroad, and I'll show a little clip right here. These buildings are mounted on a sheet of acrylic that I painted and scribed in the sidewalks to represent an entire city block. Now it's time to light the interior to give it a little bit more detail. All those buildings that I assembled over 30 some years ago when I lived in Cape St. Clair, Maryland, and had them up on a bench, and I'm going to see, before I put that video out, I'm going to see if I have a picture. It's an actual snapshot of those things sitting up on the shelf when I just built them, or halfway through building them. I don't think I even painted them yet, but that was in the mid to late 80s, so that was about 30 years ago. But that's what I'm working on. I'm putting lighting into it, so I've been doing all these videos with LEDs, so I'm going to put those LEDs, I'm going to put the SMD LEDs in there up in the ceiling, and I have some photos that I pulled off of Google where I am going to do the interiors of all the buildings. So I'm going to show you how to do that and show you how to mount all those LEDs and put them on a Nano. We're going to start it off by doing the building random lighting, the George Bunza sketch that does the 17 LEDs. I think I'm only going to use 12 on there in that block of buildings. But then we'll be able to change it. I'll show you, we could do that arrangement, and then we could hook the Nano back in, change the program on it, and do a different scheme of lighting on there. So it doesn't have to stay the same. We have the Nano there. We could pull the Nano out, program it for something else, put it back in, and we're good to go. So that's what's coming up. Still working on it. I'm not sure exactly when it'll be when it's finished, but when it comes out, you'll be the first to know if you ding that bell. So leave a comment down below if you want to see anything else done on these, on the Arduino Made Easier. Remember, this one's the next one coming up, and there's a lot of things that we can go over on that. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. I've already had some suggestions on there that I'm going to be working on, so that's coming up on Saturdays. So we'll see you.